see you, Mike.
Betsy Riley.
Thank you all so much for coming out here this evening. My name is Ed Markey, and I am running for the United States Senate. My intention is to earn the vote and the support of every person in the greater Lowell area, in the Merrimack Valley area. For 10 years, I was the congressman from Billerica and Tewksbury and Wilmington, and I loved it. I loved it, and my intention is to run on the issues that people care about. We have an epidemic of assault weapons on the streets of our country. We have gun shows that allow people to buy guns without ever having a background check. As Dick said, we have ammo magazines that can be used in these weapons that should only be seen in the middle of a war overseas, but not on the streets of our country. I'm running for the United States Senate because I want these guns off our streets. And I'm going to run in order to make sure that happens. Because I believe that a woman should have a right to choose. I believe a woman should have a right to equal pay. I believe a woman should have all the rights that a man has. And I'm going to go to the United States Senate in order to make sure that that is the case. I'm running for the United States Senate because the planet is running a fever. There are no emergency rooms for planets. We have to engage in the preventative care that is necessary, unleashing a green energy revolution that will avert the worst consequences of dangerous global warming. We need to put in place those preventative measures so that Hurricane Sandy, Superstorm Sandy, is not a preview of coming attractions, not only for us, but for the entire planet. The United States has to be the leader. The Industrial Revolution started here in Lowell and in Lawrence. And since then, CO2 has been going up into the atmosphere. Red, white, and blue CO2. We have a chance here for a new revolution. A wind, a solar, a clean energy revolution. It is now one of the top 10 job sectors in Massachusetts. We should be the national and international leader in bringing this revolution to the American people and to this planet. I believe that there has to be protection given for the rights of the LGBT community. They have a right to have the protection for their lives, for their goals, for their families, and I am going to stand up for them as well. We have a constitutional crisis in our country. We have an absolute pollution of the political system in our country. Vast quantities of money, undisclosed, unlimited, going into state after state. I'm going to the United States Senate so we can pass a constitutional amendment that overturns Citizens United versus the It is absolutely a central part of what we have to accomplish in our country. I want to go to the United States Senate because we need a legal pathway for immigrants in our country to become citizens. We have to make sure that we put that on the book. My father and his 4 sisters and brothers grew up on 88 Phillips Street in South Lawrence, in the shadow of the old South Mill. That's where my father grew up, 88 Phillips Street, South Lawrence. And there were 5 children and a mother and father there. My last aunt, my Aunt Margie, passed away about 3 years ago. And on the day of her funeral, I thought I would go over to 88 Phillips Street to see who lived on the first floor of the 3-decker now that the Markeys were gone. And the door opened, and it was a Dominican family with their children. And you know what? The accents are different, but the aspirations are the same, huh? And if someone whose father grew up on 88 Phillip Street on the first floor of a triple-decker can run for the United States Senate? Then why shouldn't every family believe that their children can aspire to the maximization of all of their God-given abilities? But the only way we can do that is if we ensure a democratization of access to education, to health care, which provides the pathway for every child to become whoever it is that they want to become. And so, to my way of thinking, that's really what our country is all about. And I'm a product of it, a grateful product, and so aren't you, huh? It's just tremendous, the opportunities that can be given to people that change the whole course of their family's history. And so, for me, this race has just begun. Over at the Lowell Auditorium tonight, they're having the Golden Gloves fights tonight. All I can tell you is, I'm willing to fight for all the things you believe in. And I'm ready to get in the ring, to stand up, to battle for everything that you believe in. That's what this is going to be all about. And there's one other thing that Dick, Ariella understand, and all of you, because you're here tonight, understand. Democrats do not agonize. Democrats organize. And that's what we're going to do this year. We're going to make sure that there's no mistakes, that the Republicans are not taking this seat. They're not going to undermine the Obama agenda as he laid it out in the State of the Union, as he laid it out in his address to Congress last week. No, ladies and gentlemen. Elizabeth Warren needs a partner in Washington. In order to make sure that Elizabeth and I are standing shoulder to shoulder with the President to implement an agenda that really does serve to benefit every family in our country. And so it's a great honor for me to be able to work to replace John Kerry in the United States Senate. He has been a great senator, and he will be a great Secretary of State. And I will tell you this as well. I'm going to take more experience over to the United States Senate to try to make that work than any other congressman in the history of our country. Yeah. I'm going to use that experience in order to help to make that institution work for the people of our country. I've been able to work with Republicans to pass dozens and dozens of bills. If the Tea Party wants peace, I want peace. If the Tea Party wants to fight and destroy education and health care and NIH and early education programs, then I'm ready to fight. But I'm going to send a signal that we should work together as Americans. Absolutely. But if they don't want to, right now, I know there's one thing that separates the Tea Party from the activists of Greater Lowell. On every single issue, there's one thing that separates them. You are right, and the Tea Party is wrong. I'm going to give it everything I've got. I'm going to give it everything I've got because I could see with the programs of the New Deal and the Fair Deal and President Kennedy that it was a short journey in one generation from 88 Phillip Street to being able to run for the United States Senate. And I want to give that same opportunity to every family, not only here, but all across our country. So thank you for everything that you're doing. It's everything to me that you're here tonight. And,
we got you covered.
And
absolutely.
Thank you. And so I need your help. I need you out there gathering the signatures. I'm going to need you out there making the phone calls. I'm going to need you out there holding the signs. And if you do it, if you give it that kind of a fight, I will give it that kind of a fight.